Hi, my name is Christy Hill, and my husband and I go to Transformation Church, and we host what we call belong groups, which is basically our version of house church or home church groups. We meet at the church every Sunday for worship services. We have 5 services actually on Sundays. And then throughout the week, we meet all across the city, or different cities actually even, and we meet together and grow together and do life together. Well, my husband and I do one called Hearing the Voice of God, in which it's a prophetic belong group where we teach people how to hear the voice of God on behalf of other people. And we use primarily this curriculum. Let me see if you can see it. It's a book by Sean Bowles, and it's called Translating God. It's basically a Prophecy 101. It's teaching you the do's and don'ts of prophetic ministry. For example, we have rules. We don't ever speak anything negative. If you feel like you have something negative to say, you don't say it. Period. You can come to my husband and I afterwards, and then if we sense that the Lord is saying something in regards to that, we will do it delicately because we love people, and the whole gist of the whole ministry is the heart of God, which is His love for people. And we don't counsel people, we don't direct people in that setting. My husband and I do some, I don't even know if you want to call it counseling, but we do help people outside of the group. But as far as delivering prophetic words in the group, we are not counseling. We don't give directive words. And what that means is if somebody comes and says, I think God's telling you to quit your job or move to another city, we don't give those type of words either, okay? But it has been a fabulous journey to watch people who didn't really know they could hear from God begin to hear from God so accurately and move in such great love for other people. I've been encouraged to tell some of the testimonies that have come out of our group. So I'm going to tell you a couple of those today. One of them, we have a woman who is a part of our group that leads a prophetic women's ministry. She brought her whole prophetic team over for our team to begin to pray over them. And we had only been in session just a few weeks, so a lot of the people were absolutely brand new to this. But the first woman sat in the chair, and the first thing I saw was, have you seen the movie Up, where all the helium balloons are attached to the house and it lifts the house up? Well, I told her that's what I was seeing, and I didn't have a spiritual significant word for that, but I was seeing that very clearly. And then another girl said, oh my gosh, can I say something? She said, I just saw you in a big hot air balloon. It was giant, and it disappeared behind one cloud, and then immediately you came out from behind another cloud in another hot air balloon. And the people that came with her said, just tell him. And it turns out the woman is a crew chief for a hot air balloon team. How cool is that? Okay, and then here's another one that's kind of outlandish. We had a visitor come, and we didn't know what she had prayed on her way here, but she told the Lord she didn't want any fluff words. If this was God, she wanted to know that He knew her. And so she gets here, and one of our members that has been in 2 sessions of Translating God and Hearing the Voice of God, our prophetic belong group, she said, this may sound silly, but I feel like we're supposed to applaud for you. And so we're like, okay, that could be God. And so we all started clapping, this whole room. The girl started dying laughing. And she said, you just don't even know. And we said, well, obviously there's some significance to that for you. Would you tell us? And she said when she goes out to eat, she meets groups of people, and a lot of times there is one person that's the last one, and she's always telling everybody, when they get here, let's all start clapping. And so that's what that meant to her, was God flipped the script on her and started applauding for her. It was just so beautiful. Well, that same girl, as we were praying, I was seeing a music box, an old jewelry box that you would open and it'd play music. And I got the sense that there was a gift that was being passed down from her generational line on the women's side for her. And I was thinking it was probably a spiritual gift that God was giving her. Well, the next week or maybe 2 weeks later, she said, I cannot wait to tell you this. And she showed me this very delicate ring. And she said after she left our Belong group, she found this ring in her backpack. Now, her sister sometimes borrows her backpack, or they switch off and borrow different things from each other. So she asked her sister, have you ever seen this ring? And her sister said no. And so she asked her mom, and her mom said, where did you get that? That was your great-grandmother's wedding ring. How cool is that? Okay, and then I'll give one more. This last week, we had a visitor come, and we asked if she wanted to sit in what we call the love seat, because you experience the love of God in that chair. And she didn't. She said, oh no, I don't want all these people laying hands on me. And one of our rules is that everybody doesn't lay hands on you. My husband and I are the only people allowed to touch whoever's in the chair. We always ask if it's okay first, and we usually just stand behind them and put our hands on their shoulders. And usually I give them a mini back massage while we're doing it. But anyway, that's beside the point. So we prophesied over somebody else and then asked her if she was willing to sit in the love seat, and she was. So when she got in the love seat, I got the sense that maybe she wasn't walking fully wholeheartedly with God, but she had at one point. So we prophesied a few things and spoke those things out. But then it came very clearly to me that the Lord wanted her to know. He said, I am not boring. And she started laughing, because that's literally something that she has said. Why would she do this? Because it would be so boring. So that was so funny. But then it got very tender when one of our other young ladies said, I have a picture, and it's a delicate picture. I see you when you were like 2 or 3 years old, and a car is driving out of the driveway, and you're at the window, and your heart shattered. Well, immediately when they said that, when the girl said that, the girl in the seat and her mother who brought her both burst into tears. And apparently, when she was a little girl, her parents got separated and were going to go through with the divorce. And the mother went to pick up the little girl, and the father wouldn't let her have her. And the dad's girlfriend was holding the baby. The baby had to watch as the mom drove away, and their hearts were shattered. Long story short, she ended up being able legally to come back and get the baby. Both parents were able to have a relationship with the daughter and all that. So it wasn't a sad story in the end, but it really let this young lady know, God has been with you from the beginning, and I am in the midst of this with you. It was just so special. So anyway, let me share one more. Okay, so we had a young lady, a visitor. I've seen her one time. She came being invited by somebody else. So we're praying over her, and I'm seeing her like Esther. She was created for such a time as this. We're praying all kinds of Esther things over her. And I hear she may be Esther, but her Boaz is coming. And I made the mistake of asking, are you married? And she said yes, so I couldn't call her Boaz in. But it didn't leave me. I kept feeling like she may be Esther, but her Boaz is coming. I never spoke it out. She left. Everybody left. I go to look at the sign-in sheets to do attendance for our group, and her last name was Boaz. It's the best prophetic word that I never delivered. Anyway. I hope some of this is encouraging to you. As I think of some of the other ones, I'll do more recordings and then post them as well. Thank you, and God bless you.